Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. A lot of things have been going on since I last posted, and I just wanted to come on and tell you about what's been going on. So, I know I told you all that the township trouble is over, which it is, and I'm glad about that. I'm glad that that's over. Shortly after that, just trying to remember all that's happened because it's been a lot. I know shortly after that, I ended up going to the walk-in clinic because apparently, even though I am only 29 years old, I got a rash on this right above my eyebrow, and I didn't know what it was, and it was hurting. It wasn't just here, but it was also up, in my scalp. And I thought maybe at first, because I only really noticed it here, that maybe I touched some chemicals by accident and it burned my face or something, because it looked like a burn. I'm sure like people who've had slight burns, it's like a red and a little lumpy looking, and eventually it'll blister. That red bumpiness at first is what I got. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a chemical burn. Well, it wasn't getting any better for like 3 days, and so I'm like, well, I guess, I need to figure out what is going on. And I put Neosporin on it, and it was helping with the pain, but it wasn't helping with clearing it up. So I went in, and apparently, like I said, I'm only 29, and apparently I got shingles. So that wasn't pleasant. I don't wish that on anybody. That's freaking stuff hurts, especially when it's like right in your scalp, and like any tug of hair, just sends sharp jolts into your skull. So that happened. Some semi good news. 2 weeks ago, I got news that I was finally going to be hired on at my priority job, the one that brings in most of my money. And after that, HR, of course, has been giving me the runaround like they always do. But hopefully I'll be hired on by permanently at my place of employment by the 21st of this month. So that's good. Gets a weight off my shoulder. And hey baby, what are you eating? What are you eating? Stop it. Hi. Yeah, you're so cute. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness. I know. Come here. I know. Give us a hi to the camera. Hi. Yeah. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. You're so cute. No, that's a plate up there. You can't. Okay. I know, you're so cute. So, I got that good news, and what else happened? In regards to... Can I help you? I love you. I know. In regards to the whole getting hired on thing, I ended up... Everything is through like online and through email now. So they told me I had to go to this website, to type in my application and all that, or my resume. Luckily I already had one, so I just had to upload it. So wasn't that big of an issue. And I sent it away, and they're like, okay, well, you need to wait a few days, and we'll get back to you. And I'm like, okay. They said in a few days you can come back and, you know, check on the status of your application. Okay, so I waited a few days to go back. They said, oh, well, come back, you know, next week, and hopefully we'll have your offer letter. And I'm like, cool, sure. So, I know, baby. So I go back the following week, and they say, oh, it's not in yet. The person who normally does it is on vacation, or they had Monday off that Monday. I'm like, okay, so come back Wednesday. And so I did, and it wasn't ready, so they said come back Friday. So I did. And anyway, eventually, what happened was, I got my offer letter, and they said, okay, we'll expect 3 emails. And I got the first one shortly after that, and they said, you have to do a background check. The company that does the background checks is going to email you, so fill out the form on, you know, their website. And so I did, and I didn't realize that in the first email that there was like 3 attachments. 2 of the attachments were just telling me my rights, and the 3rd attachment had like 5 or 6 forms that I had to, it was just like pretty much signing and dating, and I had to get them, I had to send that back in PDF format, you know, signed and everything, so that they could do what they need to do. And I had like 72 hours from when they sent the email, I'm assuming. It was kind of vague. They just said 72 hours. I don't know if that was 72 hours from like the start of that Wednesday when I finally got it. Whatever. I had 72 hours. I was on my like 2nd day, and I was panicking. And so, Bastet, do you mind? I know, baby. She's just so mean, so loud and so noisy. So, so I had to hurry up and, baby, I know. Oh, stop pushing me, babe. Stop pushing me. Stop pushing me. Oh, I know. You're so cute. You're so fluffy. I know. Okay, get down. I know. Sorry about that. I get home because I was working. It was a Friday, and I needed to have it done in my mind by Friday evening because I work Saturday overtime, and so by the time 72 hours were up, it would have been before I got out of work on Saturday, and I wouldn't have had time to do them. So I got dog fur on my lips now. Thanks a lot, puppy. I got home from my priority job, and got on, downloaded the PDF files, and I'm like, okay, well, I know you can, on the computer, if they format it correctly, you can just, you know, do it on the computer and then send it away. I couldn't figure out how to do that, and so I said, okay, I'll just print it out. I have a printer. So, my printer had been giving me a little bit of trouble, but I'm like, sure, it'll most likely still work. So I go, and I try to print the papers out, and my printer wasn't communicating with my computer, and I'm just like, oh, that's not good. And so I'm like, wait, I have like more printers in this house. For those of you that don't know, I live in my parents' house. Both of them have passed away, unfortunately, but I'm still living in their house. So I'm like, they had printers, so I went to my dad's old room, got the one out, and realized I didn't have the power cord. It was a HP, and the one I had is a Canon, so the power cords don't match, and so I couldn't plug it in to see if it worked. So threw that one to the side, and then I was like, there's one more. Obviously, I had two. So it was out in the den. It was on the desk out in the living room, which is where I'm at now. This is my desk. There was an older one that my dad used, and there was a printer that both my dad and my mom used. So that was on that desk. But when I got rid of the desk, I got rid of the printer. The printer was still out in the in the den. So I'm like, there's another one, and I'm pretty sure it's a Canon. So I go and I get it and I bring it in. Sure enough, power cords match, and so I, plug it in, and I knew it worked. It worked plenty of times before, and so I put the papers in, and I'm just like, okay, like, here we go. Let's get this party started. And it didn't freaking work. There was something wrong, the computer wasn't recognizing it. I guess that I didn't have the driver because I went into the settings and said I needed the driver. So I'm like, okay, well, let's, download the driver. And so I did, and then it said restart the computer. So I did, and it didn't work. And I'm like, shoot. So that wasn't working. In between all this, I had to go to work. I had come home in the shortly, it was Friday, so it was like around 2:40, 3 o'clock when I finally got home. And I was taking my time. I said doing these forms aren't gonna take forever, and so I tried to oh man, I'm getting crazy. Shoot. So I was just taking my time, to get something to eat, and taking the dog out, messing with the cats a little bit, and I finally sat down at a little before 4 to print out the documents that I needed to print out, and the printer wasn't working, and eventually it did print, but when you took the paper out, you could tell that there was writing on it, but it was very light, like the ink had dried up, I guess, and so the printer was useless because the ink wasn't working. And so I went to work, and I ended up texting my friend and said, hey, you got access to a printer because I need these documents printed out. And after some shenanigans with all that, he ended up printing it out for me, or he got my brother to print it out for him, and he delivered it to me at my other job. And so I signed everything, and I came home, and I'm like, okay, well, just because the printer ink, wasn't working, the scanner should still work. And that's actually when I found out that the driver wasn't working on it. And so I downloaded the driver, supposedly restarted the computer, turned on the computer, tried to have the printer scan and the document so I could send it back, to an email the person that originally sent me the email, and it said driver not found. You have to, you have to download it and restart your computer. I'm like, but I just did that. So ended up, what I had to do was, just because it wasn't communicating with the computer doesn't mean that it wasn't working at all. So it's still, the scanner still worked, but I had to do a whole thing where I had to, luckily the printer was a fancy one, and it had like a SD slot in it for an SD card. So I put I had an SD card, so I put the SD card in there, and it had a little screen, a touch screen on it, and I was able to scan directly from the printer itself instead of having to go through the computer. And so I just went beep boop beep boop, and it scanned it just fine onto the SD card. Then I had to take the SD card out, put it in the computer, and then I finally got my PDF format signed papers, and I was able to email it. So as you can see, there is that printer in the back on the chair is the one that was on my dad's desk out in here in the living room when that was when he was still alive. That one is the one that I found in his room that did not have the power cords to it. And then that white one down there was mine. Now that one has been giving me problems for a while, so that can go in the junk pile. That one's useless because it doesn't have, you know, a power cord. And then this one, I don't know, it's not working. I can't get the driver for it, so they're all useless. I have 3 useless printers, and I was telling this story to my brother about how I have like 3 useless printers in the house. And so I'm like, as soon as I get the chance, I'm going to take, you know, all 3 of them, take them outside and beat them with a baseball bat. That's how frustrated I was getting with this whole process, because I don't want to mess up my chance of, you know, getting hired on, because they said if you don't get the paperwork done in 72 hours, and then you forfeit your right to, you know, work for the company. I didn't want that to happen. I've been waiting over a year, which isn't odd. A lot of people there don't get hired on until after a full year. I don't know why that is. You know, I think it's a little excessive, but you know, I don't run the company, so so yeah, that's what's been going on. And I did end up getting a new printer. It is a Canon. It is a TS8322, the TS8300 series. It can print photos, it can print, you know, regular paper. It has an SD card slide, you know, slot, just in case I run into any more problems. It's wireless, so I don't have to, you know, worry about, you know, hooking it into a USB port and, you know, wasting a slot, which is nice. So not a lot of, that's one less cord I have to worry about. So yeah, that's what's been happening with me lately. Of course, some little things have been happening. I let my registration on my vehicle run out for like 2 days. I think I did it on the 3rd, and last day was the 31st of August. But I got that taken care of, which is good. Yeah. I think everything else has been going okay. Both jobs have been fine, I suppose. What's up, cat? My cat was looking at me, sorry. I made a German chocolate cake. It was the first time me making any cake from scratch. Wasn't that hard, but because it was so new, I was like all flustered. And my friend, her birthday is coming up in October, and I asked her if she wanted to come over and do something. She said yes. And I said, well, do you want cake? And she said yes. And I said, what type? And she said German chocolate. And I'm like, oh, of course it can't be just like a regular cake. Like a regular chocolate cake. It had to be German chocolate. And I'm like, okay. So, of course I don't want the box kind. I want to put some effort into it. It's her birthday. She deserves, you know, a homemade cake. And so I went online and I looked up a recipe for German chocolate cake, and it said it needed like coconut and like walnuts or pecans or something. I'm like, did you want these on your cake? And because I asked her what type of topping she wanted, and she said whipped topping. I never made whipped icing before either. So I looked that up too, and that's when I found out that you're supposed to put like coconut filling or icing on it or something. And she's like, no, I don't want either of those. I just want the whipped topping. I'm like, okay, cool. So I made the cake. I made the icing both from scratch. Again, neither was really difficult. I need to work on my my egg separating technique, because I think lost 1 or 2 eggs to the process. You have to separate the yolks from the whites and have to whip up the whites. So I have to work on that, but it's possible. It tastes good. It's not too overpowering, you know. So I like it. It's pretty good. So I was having my co-workers from both jobs be my guinea pigs. So, oh, by the way, if you see that box in the corner, that box is from the new printer. I left it out so the cat could play with it because she was in there. So, but yeah, that's what's been happening, I guess, with me making cakes. Hey, babe. Meow. Meow. Yeah. No, you don't. Oh no, come back. Well, so that's pretty much it. Making cakes, paying bills, getting hired on, hopefully. I'm not gonna get too excited about that one until it actually happens. You know, life can mess things up. Don't want to get too excited for things. And if you're wondering like what's going on with the lighting and stuff, I didn't want to set up my camera because this is sort of like the end of the day and it's like 7:30. I didn't want to set up like the whole camera thing, so I ended up using my webcam. Hopefully everything turns out well, because I don't want to have to do this video again. So, but yeah, I think that's it. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I know it's the, a holiday, on Monday. I remember on Memorial Day, I actually ended up going to work, and I go and get into the parking lot, and there's no other cars, and the building itself is completely pitch black because there's no lights on whatsoever. I don't even try at that point. That's when it clicked in my mind that I'm like, oh yeah, it's a holiday. No one's here. So don't be like me and go to work when you're not supposed to. Because I had to be there at like, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the morning, and so I had to be there early. And it was so early, it was before 6 o'clock, so even though I was up and wanting breakfast, I couldn't even go to like Burger King or McDonald's because they don't open, Well, not so much McDonald's, but Burger King is by my place of employment. So that's where I normally go if I want some fast food, since it's convenient. But they weren't open at 6 o'clock or before 6 in the morning, so I couldn't even get breakfast. So I woke up early for no reason, and I couldn't even get anything out of it. So don't be like me. Sleep in if you can. Have, a good day and a good week. So hopefully I'll post again sometime soon, but we've been working a lot of overtime at my main job, so probably not. But thanks for anyone who watches. I will see you in the next video. Bye.